let's get into Amazing Spider-Man. Or God damn it, let's get into.
Let's not get into Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Let's get into.
Been there, done that.
Let's get into Spider-Man 2. One of the first things right off the bat.
Do you want me to give the stats real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
So 40 minutes already.
Yeah, I know. So Spider-Man 2, just real quick. Rotten Tomatoes, obviously, like I said, this is probably all in hindsight. Critics 94 on Rotten Tomatoes, 81 fan rating. IMDb is 7.3. The box office was $373 million domestic, 783 worldwide. As we talked about before we were recording, this was the lowest of the three, which was kind of surprising. Budget of $200 million.
Well, and maybe this is something that someone could comment on your Instagram or whatever. Hashtag plug. But I think this might have been the first movie to hit $1 billion. I think this movie, Spider-Man 2, might have been the first one to actually hit $1 billion worldwide.
The worldwide stats say 700 and...
Oh, is it the world? Okay. Sorry, I thought that was domestic and then...
No, 700. Yeah, no, it was, 783 includes foreign.
Okay.
And that's just from Box Office Mojo,
Okay.
So...
All right, it's all good.
Yeah.
No worries. I'm probably wrong. It's okay.
I think it was the Avengers.
More than likely.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yes. I'm not going to be the last. Okay, so go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, just like every movie has something that I love in the beginning so far. Mm-hmm. You know, this is also during the time when Chappelle's Show was huge. So Ashy Larry came out there. Spider-Man stole that guy's pizzas, like right off the bat.
Yes, that is good. That is good.
Fantastic.
And then, of course, J.K. Simmons. This is actually where he made the checkbook line about his wife losing the checkbook, which was great. And then one of the other things I just wanted to point out was that when Peter's going to this university with Kirk Connors, you know, he drops his books and he's just getting beat the shit out of by backpacks and stuff. I put Peter is at Dickhead University. Apparently.
yeah, pretty much. Did you guys notice the Doctor Strange cameo when
he said
Jameson's? Yeah,
Doctor Strange. Good. It's taken.
It's taken already. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 also has Nope, lost what I was going to say. It's gone. Never mind.
Well, so, I had a question for you, Nick, in regards to J. Jonah Jameson's son, John Jameson, who proposes to Mary Jane. So the name sounded so familiar.
He's the one who brings the symbiote.
Right. Okay. So Matt and I had talked about that, but before we started recording, and I do remember that. But then I remembered him as also being, you know, some sort of a villain. And when I was doing some research, I remember the Man-Wolf. I was in one of the one of the Spider-Man cartoons. Yeah. I can't remember which one, but I definitely remember him. But he's in the comics. Apparently, he was Colonel Jupiter and Star God in addition to Man-Wolf, and I don't remember them at all.
No,
and it's on like the wiki. I was like, okay.
Every character at some point or another. Every character in every comic at some point or another has probably either been a superhero or a supervillain.
Right.
It's just kind of
for sure.
I don't know those people.
Okay. I know you've read a lot of the comics, so I thought maybe you could be like, oh yeah, this is how he's been 3 different villains.
No, but again, his big contribution to the comics was he brought the symbiote to Earth.
Yeah.
Like he went out and then he got the symbiote and attached to the shuttle.
They should have stuck with that.
I agree.
One of the things I just wanted to point out about this one, and I kind of said this already, but I put as one of my notes for this one, huge difference between the CGI, the environment between the first one, definitely bigger budget. Sony really believed in this Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like it becomes so much more vast. It's just, it's much more open. Like I said before in the first one, it seemed like everything was done in like a 12 by 12 room. Like a lot of the action was all done in these small little areas. And in this one, definitely, they opened it up. They did a lot more with this one. That's why this one's the best out of the 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
By far.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell continues his cameos. It officially becomes a reoccurring cameo now.
He's the Stan Lee of the Superman or Spider-Man.
Of the original Spider-Man. First, he was the dickhead announcer in the wrestling promotion or whatever.
We didn't mention the fact that Randy Savage was in the first movie.
God, how can we forget? Who made that costume for you? Your husband? No, you didn't.
That's so great.
Don't you ready? Don't you talk about Hulk like that? But that's probably his last match, really.
Yeah, seriously.
He didn't fucking wrestle that long.
But he's the guy at the theater who's like, you can't come in late. It destroys the illusion.
Yeah.
And then eventually he has this cameo in the third one as the French hostess, I guess, or host,
right. And the thing that I loved about that is it looked like Peter recognized him when he first walks up. He's like, "Wait, but you're speaking French, and we're at this restaurant." Like maybe that was just me, but that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, they might have had a little bit of fourth wall there.
Yeah,
to be fun.
Yeah.
But no, I think Alfred Molina's in this movie as Doc Ock, I think is great. Like
Yes.
I like his character is like sympathetic. His character is smart and poetic and like has this like it makes sense that he would want to keep working on what he's doing. And the fact that like what happens to his wife and what happens that kind of changes, like, you know, the burning the thing in the back of his head and the arms kind of fusing with him. Like his story is a lot more tragic, I think, than Norman Osborn's is in the first movie, and so I think that makes him a much more relatable villain, which I think that adds to the quality of the film. Is that him kind of going from like noble, smart, gonna help the world to like I still want to do the right thing, but I'm kind of being like corrupted a little bit by the arms and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say they both had like multiple personalities, or like other people talking to him. The arms were talking to him in this one, and then Norman Osborn just had he just had his other personality or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. But I agree with you. I thought this movie, as much as I didn't really care for the acting, again a whole lot in this one, I thought the storyline was pretty solid as far as like Peter Parker just getting like his ass kicked by life, for lack of a better term. Like,
Spider-Man.
Everything is just going against him. He's trying to balance, how do I be this superhero plus, you know, my normal life, and then Aunt May's house is, you know, being foreclosed on, and then Mary Jane is with Harry in this one, right?
No, Mary Jane.
She's gonna
get married to
get married. Yeah. So life is just kicking his ass, and to see him kind of overcome that, I thought the storyline was pretty solid. And then, like you said, when you have Doc Ock and he becomes more relatable, and then even though I think I would have preferred him just being more pissed off at the world and trying to get retribution for his wife's death instead of kind of like the arms talking to him. That was a little cheesy, but I still thought it, like you said, it was really relatable. Fantastic villain, and I thought it was awesome.
One of the notes I made was that immediately I actually thought the acting, the dialogue, definitely improved in this one compared to the first one. I thought everybody was a little bit better. Even Kirsten Dunst was a tad bit better. I thought Toby was a little bit better too, because more like you said, he's getting his ass kicked. So he just looks like a sad bitch at this point. Like he just
again, Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, that's exactly.
I could agree. It did improve a little bit, and maybe even on the third one, it got even a little bit better. But it still was, to me, it fit more of like a Lois and Clark or a CW. Like it should have been a sitcom or a TV show instead.
Well,
not a
when
sitcom,
they have the commercial part, raindrops. Like it looks stupid. And I noticed there was like, I never noticed this before with the second one when I watched it, but they have a Superman homage. He's running down an alleyway, pulling the shirt out.
He does it in the first one at the parade.
Yeah, but he's running down a sidewalk in that one.
Right.
But this one's down an alley. I thought that was better.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Well, one thing that
it was exactly like almost shot for shot.
Right. Yeah, like Superman. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Kind of like sticking to like the nods of comic books, and like what Nick had touched on with the first one is that it's not afraid of, hey, this is a comic book movie. But in the second one, I did kind of make a comparison as far as Man of Steel and how he doesn't smile a whole lot in Spider-Man. In this one, he's getting his ass kicked by life
every morning.
Yeah. And Superman's kind of the same.
Well,
you're stretching on that one.
It's also kind of tied to there's a comic series. I believe it's Spider-Man No More, which is a lot of what this movie's kind of taking from, where Spider-Man gives up being Spider-Man. Like that is there's like an iconic scene in the comics that they reproduce in the movies where you see him kind of throw his suit in the garbage can and he's walking away and you see the picture.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's I believe it's Spider-Man No More, and that was a big storyline where he stopped being Spider-Man and then the consequences of that. And again, tying that back to the overlying arc of Spider-Man, which is with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. That with who he is, he has to sacrifice what he wants and what's important to him in order to do the right thing.
Yeah,
he even has that moment with the ghost bin.
Yeah,
in the car.
Yeah,
which totally Batman versus Superman stole that.
You see, there's some parallels.
Ghost Uncle.
Yeah, exactly. Except for it's not on the top of a mountain, so it's okay.
Right. Yeah,
it was in a car.
Yeah,
exactly. But
one of the things one of the scenes, it was different, and I actually rewound it because I wanted to just kind of, I don't know, view it a little bit more or whatever, but it's when he gave up being Spider-Man and the guy's being mugged in the alleyway. And even though it was a little cheesy, I liked the facial expressions and kind of his struggle. I thought Tobey Maguire did a good job at, he wants to help, but he knows he's not Spider-Man anymore, and so he's like, well, he's almost making the choice of, I gave up Spider-Man completely, so I can't help this guy no matter what. And even though it is a dick move, I enjoyed the scene, and I thought it was cool to kind of see the struggle of where he's like, well, fuck, what do I do here? Because I could help just as a citizen, but I'm not. Like, I gave up that part of my life, and I thought that was cool.
Plus, without his powers, he's gonna get jacked up.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was struggling with his powers.
Yeah, he's not Spider-Man in that point. He's got the glasses. He's gonna get fucked up.
And it's funny you bring that up because like there's a scene, like there's a good visual I love in that movie where when he makes the decision to go back to being Spider-Man and he drops his glasses. And it's such a simple, like, little thing. Like, he put the glasses back on to be, like, Peter Parker again. And I'm going to be just... And then he drops the glasses, and then you see his, like, hand, like, clinch up. Like, he's like, I got to do this. Like, I have to. And it's, like, that moment... That's just a real good moment of, like, this is me having to recognize that I have to go back. I can't run from this anymore.
Right.
And so being able to, like, own that kind of moment, I think, was really good in the movie.
Yes.
So and going back to the lack of powers, I still think one of the funniest scenes is when he's like he's trying to jump across the alley and he's like, I got this,
I'm back. I'm back.
Boom, and he lands and hits the cars like 3 times.
Right.
And he's like, oh, my back.
Yeah, but and like Matt said, he at first he's yelling, I'm back, and then he lands and he's like, my back. Yeah, that was great.
It's I love it.
Destroys cars with no responsibility. What an ass.
Yeah.
If I came out and found a dent in the top of my roof, I'd be
Well,
pissed.
I was gonna say, did you guys notice that none of the ones that he lands on, the alarms don't go off, and
the
then
shitty
he
Taurus?
leans,
The shitty Taurus or Mercury? I saw it. I was like, really?
Yeah, and he leans up against it, and the alarm goes off. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
So
But-
can't be but fun.
Yeah. So but I think if we're talking about Spider-Man 2, we have to talk about the train scene. Like, we have to talk about...
No, we don't.
Okay, fine. All right.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, that is probably one of the best.
That is the scene. Like, I think that is the scene, like, when he's fighting on the train, the way that they move... Like he's on the building and then he's on the train, and then the way that like they kind of move within each other. I think
Hot
that really
potato with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing people.
Throw. And then when he kicks him off and he tries to stop the train, and he's literally like he's trying to jump on, he hurts his legs, it doesn't work, and so he does like two web shooters, and then like it rips
That
off
doesn't
the window.
work. Yeah.
And the dickhead conductor. Any other smart
Yeah,
ideas?
oh yeah. I just hit him. Thanks, Todd.
He just webs him, throws him off.
Thanks, Todd. and then he does the like 10 of them, and then he like you see him just like in a struggle. And I think that scene where he's like screaming and he's holding his arms, and you see like him really like give his all and then just lose it, and everybody kind of cradling him.
Yeah.
I know.
Jesus on the
and
way
he's Jesus.
back.
Yeah, I noticed
everybody's
that.
Jesus. Yeah, and then him waking up maskless, and the panic in his face, and then everyone's like, "It's okay,
Yeah, we won't tell.
we got this." And then the little boy walks up, we found this. We won't tell nobody. And it's like that scene again. Like I said, each movie has a scene I think that really kicks me, and that's the scene where it's like, okay. That shows the camaraderie between him and the city.
Yeah,
him and the people that he's helping.
When did this one come out?
2004.
Okay, all right. So I was down in Monterey, California when I saw this with my brother, and he loves Spider-Man. So we went and saw this in Monterey. And this is how stupid of a kid I was. I had this thing that no matter what, a superhero doesn't show his fucking identity. And I remember I loved this movie as a kid, but I got so mad that twice his mask came off. Because in that train scene, and then later
at the
on,
very end, when he
takes
takes it off.
When he takes it off, and I was so mad. I'm like, you don't fucking do that, man.
I was gonna
You're
say-
fucking with the goddamn shit.
You should almost plug in your long rant from Amazing Spider-Man where you're like, he takes off his mask all the time.
Like 4 fucking times in that damn thing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just to give that kid that should... Well, I said in there that Darwinism kicks in. Just let the kid go, okay? Because if he can't make it now, then he doesn't have a chance later on in life.
But I think that, but it makes it so. That's what makes it so powerful. Is because he values that stuff so much, and so the fact that he can have that happen and be like, "We got you," and again at the very end when he's fighting Doc Ock, and it's like, no, you have to like know who I am,
who I'm fighting.
like that gives strength to those events.
Well, in the train scene, it's like fire or something that forces him to take it off because it like hits him in the side of the
Spark
face
from like an electrical thing going.
Yeah. And he's like, oh crap, and it's like in his eyes, so he has to take it off real fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how the kids found it. That's a little corny. Like
whatever.
he was on top of the train, takes it off, and then they're like, oh, we found this for you. They caught it. Yeah. They do like a human ladder. Get
I like Joey Coco Diaz there, man. He's like, if you're gonna go through, you gotta go through us to get through him.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking, and that part is pretty funny. He's like, no,
it's fantastic. It's like,
have you ever listened to any podcast with Joey Coco Diaz? That's just funny that he's in such like a kid movie. Because he says like cocksucker like every 3 seconds. So he probably did say cocksucker in that, and they probably edited it out.
Like,
you gotta get through us, cocksucker.
hey, buddy, you can't say that on the screen. I'm gonna say what I want.
He does say that. Don't tell me what to say, cocksucker. But I gotta watch that where he's on somebody's show and they keep like, no, you gotta stop cussing. I don't stop cussing, cocksucker. You don't tell me what to say, cocksucker. He just fucking keeps going on.
That's fantastic.
But again, I think that scene really, like, if we were to like incorporate like the entire trilogy, like that scene right there is the scene that really like solidifies everything. It's the heart of him. It's the against odds. It's the facing everything and being able to overcome it. It's being able to face things that are bad. It's just, I think that scene like is the movies.
All right, let's give our score in the summary.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I would definitely say this is the best of the three. Yeah, I think that.
So up from a 4.
Up from a 4.
Solid 4.
Yeah, I say like a 4.344. Like I think there's very few things in this film that I can find fault with. You know, again, obviously going back, I think Kirsten Dunst is just kind of a bad casting choice across the board, and that might be writing and also acting kind of combining together, just not be very good. Not really having any reason to explain why J. Jonah Jameson's son is there, other than really being a plot contrivance.
Right.
But overall, like this movie, I think the villain's better. I think the acting's better. Action is better. The acting is better. You have moments like him speaking to Aunt May about why, like, he was there when Ben died and him not acting is the reason he died and her pulling away. Like, those moments are just really, like, powerful. And I think just overall that I think that Spider-Man 2 probably is definitely the best of the three. And it's like a 4.344 is where I'd probably put it. Like, it's just, I don't see much flaw in this film. So.
All right. I can definitely agree. It's the best out of the three. One thing that I wanted to bring up, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt the ending was very kind of anticlimactic a little bit. And you know, maybe you guys
in the ocean kind of thing.
And even Doc Ock kind of like sacrificing himself. I felt like it just happened so fast, and that there was like this build, and it was like, okay, you know, it felt like almost they like us, we're running out of time. And so you know, they just kind of like cut it off where it was, and then there was a lot of like other dialogue and stuff that I was like, okay, just end this movie already. You know,
the first and second Spider-Man, both villains take themselves out. You know, Green Goblin gets hit by his own glider. Doc Ock makes the decision to destroy his thing to take himself out. So like, I think that's part. I think that maybe it's a running theme that they were going with. But I can understand it. Yeah, it kind of ends up a little quicker than I think. But.
Okay, so I had there were a couple flaws to me that kind of stuck out. Some of the dialogue was a little iffy. The acting is better. Still wasn't a whole lot better. In my opinion, but it was a step up, I guess I should say. So I give it a 3.3 out of 5.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed this time around watching it that I didn't catch when I was a kid watching it, because I was always kind of confused of why he lost his powers or why was he struggling with his powers. But there was actually a quote by Doc Ock that actually kind of explains some of it. If you keep something as complicated as love built up inside, it can make you sick. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to say, because he was building up and he was holding his emotions in about Mary Jane, and it was complicating his system, his spider system, I guess, whatever you want to call it. His powers were getting
his thorax.
Yeah, his powers were getting obstructed by his love. So you know, that means you just don't love people and you become a great superhero. So
I know that's what that's saying.
Something like that. Great love becomes no responsibility. I don't know, some shit like that. Anyway,
no love equals great responsibility.
Some shit like that. Come on, Ben, get in there.
What the hell?
So over again, I'm just gonna kind of repeat some of the things. Definitely expanded that. I'm gonna repeat a lot of what Nick said. The action scenes were so much better. The dialogue was a little bit better. The acting, I think, was a little bit better. There was a couple points where it just seemed like everybody was just shitting on Peter so much. Like he's supposed to be his friends and all this other shit that are just pushing on him, the Harry Osborn character just constantly, how's your buddy Spidey? You know, just because he's got this vendetta against Spidey, which ultimately, you know, does come part of the story. They're building a story there, but it just kind of seemed to ramble on and on and on a little bit too much for me sometimes. But I give it 3.3 out of 5 marks.
All right. I swear we don't talk about this stuff before we start. Oh, that's pretty funny.